it's Tensei here, and today I'll be giving you guys some tips and techniques on how to draw. And basically we'll be going through all of this today, and it's going to be quite a long video. As you can see, there's a lot to cover, so I'm going to get right into it, and let's begin. So the first thing I'm going to be covering are proportions, and this is one of the things that I struggled on the most when I started drawing, so I thought it would be good to cover it in the beginning of the video so that beginners and such can learn easily. So first, I'll give you guys some guidelines that I use when I draw people or when I draw the proportions of them. So a normal human head is about, let's just say it's about this big, and the width of the shoulders in comparison to the head is about 3 heads wide. So I would just sketch out about 3 heads, roughly the size or the width of their shoulders. So then I would draw the neck, and then I would connect it, and this would be the width of their shoulder. But in manga and anime, they kind of shorten it because a cuter image has smaller shoulders, so they compress it to about 2 heads for shoulder width. So if this was the size of a head of an anime character, you would roughly draw about 2 heads down here where the shoulders would be. Then you can add the neck and kind of align your shoulder width with where the circles ends are. And these are the 2 different types of shoulders. So you can go for a more realistic style, or you can go for more anime and manga, and I tend to opt for this. So now we will move on to body proportions. And using the shoulder width rule that we just learned, I will draw the rough sketch of the shoulders. So now, this is how I basically plan out my body proportions so they are accurate. First I start off with a simple sketch, so it's just the chest, then waist, torso, and this will be the upper body. And then I will start drawing the arms, so the elbow should align with the waist, and it should look somewhat like that. And then the fingertips of the arm should align with the middle of the thigh. And then this part of the arm, by the way, should be about as long as this part of the arm. And the top part of the leg, thigh area, should be about as long as the other part of the leg. So this area should be about as long as this area. And this is a human body. It's very rough. I know some people use figurines, and that might help you if this doesn't really help. So there's 2 different options, I guess. You can use figurines, or you can use this kind of method that I use. Also, there is a way to kind of change the body shape, how tall the person is and stuff, by varying the length of the chest and torso area. So I'll be giving you guys an example. So a character with about the same size head as the first one. So now I will make the chest and torso area shorter. As you can see, I also made the hips wider. So yeah, and marking out the key points. So elbows aligned with the waist and fingertips aligned with the middle of the thigh. And this is how I draw my people. So I hope that helped. And remember, figurines might also help you as well. I don't have one, so I usually opt for this. But it all depends on what you like. So let's move on. So the next thing I'll be focusing on are some basic composition rules, which can be used in almost any kind of drawing. It does not have to be anime and manga. It can be painting, I don't know, sketching, even photography. So I know there are a lot more composition rules, but these are just some of the basic few that kind of make up the foundation, and it's a good idea to keep these in the back of your mind, and these will add more interest, more imbalance to your picture. picture if you use them correctly. So I will teach you guys. So pretending that each box is a page, I'll illustrate some of the basic ones. So you might have heard of the rule of thirds, and basically you just divide your page into about 3 even rectangles, and do it horizontally as well. And now you have 9 boxes. So the main points of focus that you want to note are these lines and these points where the lines intersect. So these are the points of most focus. So if you draw something aligned to this line or around this point, it will be very interesting, and it has a very nice sense of imbalance that makes the picture more interesting and less static, which I know that most people tend to do. Like, I used to just draw in the middle, and that's a good place to start. But as you start to develop your art style and draw more, then I think that it's a good idea to kind of know these composition rules, and then you will be able to create more interesting pictures. And this is what I'll be teaching you guys. So I will give you guys an example of the rule of thirds. So if I was drawing a close-up of a character and she was looking at the camera, so this is an example of the rule of thirds. As you can see, the most noticeable part of this picture are the character's eyes, because they are drawn on this line. And as you can see, you also do not have to draw everything completely on the line. It's not that restricted. It's mostly just guidelines for where the most appealing placement is. And I think that I drew this character a bit too far to the left, because it seems like there's too much empty space here. But it would be just fine if, for example, I drew if it was a cherry blossom and there were petals flying by, I would definitely draw a petal here, and you can see that it creates a sense of movement, and it's a very nice balance overall. So yeah, and now I'll be heading on to the next page. So this is a technique that is, I think, known as the lead room or headroom. So you divide your page into thirds again, and this is mostly used for side views, or basically something that is facing this direction or this direction. So in this example, I'll make my character face this direction. And the idea of this rule is that you should leave but just one rectangle space for the character to kind of breathe in, as I like to think of it, and draw the character in these 2 boxes. So I'll be doing that right now. So as you can see, this is kind of what the rule should look like. So it's a good balance between the space and the character and the whole page in general. So it's not too heavily balanced on one side, because she is looking this way. Your eyes go this way as well, and there is space to look over here. Whereas if I put her right here, then it would seem like there's a whole lot of empty space behind her. And this is also a good composition if there was something behind her, like her hair that was trailing behind her. But in this picture, her hair is static, so that's why this composition works best. I know that I was talking a lot about them, and I was strictly confining to them, but honestly, these are not the limits. Lots of people break these rules. These are just basic guidelines, and these are just something that you can use to enhance your work. And I think that they are very useful, because when I learned about them, I used them. I started noticing where I put my characters and stuff, and overall it just adds a very, nice sense of balance and nice composition. But honestly, you do not have to stick to them, and I know you will find tons of pictures that don't use these rules, but there are a few that do. Well, about 60% I think use these rules, and the other 40% don't really. So yeah, it's all about condition, circumstance. Yeah, so I hope that helped, but now we will be moving on. So the next thing that I'm going to be doing is character design, and I am only going to be focusing on the face for this. I won't be focusing on clothes because I just feel like that would make this video way too long, and I just want to focus on the basic things for now. And anyways, let's get started. So I believe that in character design, most people, they don't really like to change the face shape of the character. Like my face shapes usually look like this. It's very simple, and I don't really like to change on different characters. So what other ways could you make characters different? Well, for one, you could change their eyes, and I'll be showing you some of the basic eyes that I kind of do. So the first one is, if you're trying to draw a very sly character or a very suspicious character, I would usually first start with narrowed eyes. I always think of a fox when I do this, or some other kind of animal that has very narrowed eyes, and then that's how I would draw the eye. And double eyelids are also a feature in making your characters look different. So I'm gonna draw this eye again, but with a different type of eyelid. And as you can see, it makes this eye look more sleepy and this eye look more intense. And if I wanted to draw a cuter character, I would probably use the kawaii eyes that you normally see, or you see the most often. And another eye I usually default to if I don't know what to draw is just a normal straight eye. So these are just a few that I use, but basically when I design characters, I always focus on the eyes first, because I just feel like there's way more variation in eyes than there is in drawing different noses or drawing different mouths. So just remember that if it's more of a narrowed shape, then it makes the character look more intense, I guess. If it's more of a round shape, then it makes them look innocent. And whatever other shape, it just kind of gives different variations to the different eyes you can make. So now I'll be talking about eyebrows, because surprisingly these are actually very important in character design. So one of the eyebrows, or the two basic eyebrows that I usually differentiate between, are the straight eyebrow and the arched eyebrow. So the straight eyebrow basically looks like this, and it makes the character look innocent, while on the same eyes, if I drew the arched eyebrow, it makes them look more not angry, but I guess more strict or severe. So if I wanted to decide on the personality of a character, the eyes and the eyebrows are what I focus on the most. So now I will talk to you guys about hairstyles when designing the character. So there are some rules for designing hairstyles, but not much, because honestly, hair is something you can change. It's honestly all up to yourselves. If you like curly hair, you can draw curly hair. If you like straight hair, you can draw straight hair. But there is one rule that I kind of stick to, which is if you make the character's hair pulled all the way back, such as this, the pulled back hair makes someone look more powerful, you take them more seriously, while if I gave a person bangs, they look more childish, and so they won't seem as powerful, and looking at them you won't take them as seriously as you do if you saw this character. So these are just some rules that I stick to. And one other thing, because I mentioned eyes, I know that a lot of people can't draw eyes. Like, I mean, you can draw one side, and then obviously the other side, it's like, I can't get it even, and it's honestly such a pain, and the struggle is honestly real for everyone. But I guess there is a trick that I use when I do it. So I kind of just draw lines so I know where it is. I kind of draw out the shape of it. So this is kind of like this kind of shape, so I draw it out here, and then I just go over it, and then that is how I get my even eyes. Of course they're not completely even, but this is just a technique that I kind of use to, you know, help out with my art blocks and stuff. Anyways, let's move on. So the next thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is colors in composition. And so first of all, I just kind of want to talk to you guys about complementary colors, because that is where I usually start off. So red and green are complementary colors, so is blue, orange, purple, yellow, and basically anything on the other side of the color wheel. So blue and yellow are also kind of complementary, and so is blue and red, but normally the most complementary are the ones on the opposite sides. And black and white are the most contrasting, so use them sparingly, because if you use too much black and white, it's just so contrasting. It might look too dramatic, I guess, but if that's your style, go for it. So I have an example here on how I use complementary colors. So this is a painting that I did, and as you can see, it's a seascape, so everything's very cool colored. There's greens and blues and a bit of purple, so as you can see, it's the cool side of the spectrum. I added orange fishes to kind of balance out this whole look. So if I had not added them, it would have been like too heavily balanced on the cool side. So by adding the complementary color of orange, it made this whole thing more pleasing, and it's more color balanced and stuff like that. And I also added a black universe on top, so with white waves, so as you can see, it's also very contrasting. And it draws your attention here, and then it kind of moves down, or you might see it as orange contrasting against the green, moving up and then into the black night sky, which contrasts with the white waves, which also makes it appealing. So depends which way you look at it, but as you can see, contrasting colors play an important part in composition. And I do have another example for you guys. So I drew this girl here, and she is in need of a color hair change. So just like blue eyes, and I am deciding on what color I should color her hair with. So there are many options. I would probably opt for red or black, and red because it's kind of the complementary color of blue or light blue, and black because, like I've said, black is very complementary and contrasting with white or any other light color. So she has light blue eyes, so I think it would work pretty nicely. And yeah, and there's also another option if you kind of want to go for a more cool look on her, maybe purple, because it's like also a cool color, and it's like right along this side. So yeah, those are just some options that I would let you guys consider. And another thing is, while coloring hair and coloring eyes, one thing you guys should kind of stay away from is same hair color, same eye color, because it's kind of just a very mundane look. It's very plain, there's no interest in the color, it's the same color, so it just looks very boring. I honestly don't think that you should do that, but if it is your style, you can go for it. I'm just putting out kind of a warning that it might not be the best decision. So yeah, and that's all for color composition, and I hope that helped, and let's move on. So the next thing I want to talk about is line techniques and how to draw line art. So first of all, how to hold your pen. People with shaky hands, hold it near to the tip. The closer you hold it to the tip, the more control you have, while if you have more steady hands, you can hold it wherever, I guess. I hold it usually around this area. And finally, now we're going to talk about lines. Drawing smooth, straight lines. Move your whole arm all together. Draw faster, it makes the line more consistent. The slower you draw, the more shaky it might be. So I'll give you a demonstration. I'm going to draw slow at first. And as you can see, it is kind of shaky and bumpy in these areas. So now I'm going to draw fast and move my whole arm. And it's very straight, and it's very smooth and consistent. So as you can see, that's the difference it makes. But by the way, if you have shaky hands, it's also better to push more instead of just pulling, because I think it helps more because it gives you more control as well. So holding closer to the tip and pushing more. doesn't give you a straight line as well, but it gives you a wider width length, a width of the line. So now curved lines. With curved, you move your wrist, not your whole arm. Like put your arm on one side of the page and use it as kind of an anchor, and also draw fast as well. And that is a smooth curve. While if I drew this slowly, it would look like this. And as you can see, it's still curved, but it tapers off over here, and it generally doesn't look as smooth and as nice. So these are just some tips for drawing line art. So remember to hold it as it suits you, draw faster, move your whole arm, move your wrist, and you should be able to make very smooth line art. And let's move on. So the last thing I'll be focusing on is art supplies, practicing, and motivation. So the main thing that I want to get across to you guys is art supplies don't matter. And I have two examples here. And the first one, as you can see, it's inconsistent, and this one is smooth, while this one is not, and this one is just beautiful, and this one is horrible. This line was drawn by this big grip roller, and even though it's fine, it's not fine at all. And it is horrible at writing as well, as you can see, so it's definitely not meant for drawing. While this beautiful thing is done by my microns, which I love so much and I use for almost everything in line art. And comparing these two, you can probably think like who wins. It's obviously the micron. So I will now show you guys an example of an art piece I did with this grip roller. This is a Genos manga page that I drew, and it's a speed paint as well. And as you can see, there are many details. There are many different line widths, and there are fine lines as well. Everything here is just pretty complex. There are lots of things going on, and different lines as well. So that was done with my big grip roller, and I couldn't like draw with my microns because I did not know what they were. And before I actually started getting into actually drawing and being serious, I used these because they were like just pens I found around my house, and I could still create something with that is comparable to what I could do with my microns. And now I'll show you an example. So this is a Sasuke vs. Killua manga page that I did, and as you can see, there are very fine lines as well, many details, and yeah, but it is comparable to my Genos manga page, which I did with this, and compared to these microns, on paper they are the same. And it took me a long time to master this pen, to like use it so I could consistently draw lines and stuff like that, but I managed to do it, and I still can create art, and I still use this sometimes because even though it's a horrible pen, I can use it and it can create good art. And art supplies just don't matter, guys. I just want to say that you don't need to buy expensive like Copics or expensive paints or even microns. Just use whatever you have around the house. Get used to it, and honestly, you can create beautiful things with it. And I just want to say, don't let art supplies and their prices get you down, okay? Beginner artists, this is for you. Just draw with whatever you have, and if you have enough passion and if you really love art, basically you can turn something like this into something amazing. So yeah. Now I'll be talking about practicing. So these are the three main points that I use when I'm practicing. First, sketchbooks help. They help you like see your progress, and that's the best part actually. Seeing your first drawing, comparing it to your last one, seeing how much you've improved, and it's a really good ego boost in general. I love using my sketchbooks and looking back and just being like, I improved so much. So yeah, and sketching is a fundamental. Please study how to sketch, how light falls, how to draw realism, and basically how to draw proportions, how to draw shapes. Everything about sketching is very important for any kind of art. It's kind of like the fundamentals of art. And last is copying, and I did this a lot, and copying is very good actually for improving. It kind of helps you get a feel for drawing, for art style, for developing your own art style, and basically just kind of loving your art. Even though you didn't draw it, by copying it, you can be like, oh, I can actually draw something that is this amazing, and you will feel very proud. And I feel like practicing is very important in like drawing and stuff, because it's just something that stays with you throughout your whole life. Like the more you practice, the better you become, and it's very hard to lose because it's all muscle memory. So the last thing I want to talk about is art block and everything associated with it and how to get around it. So first of all, art block is very hard to get around. Like I have so many art blocks, and my one solution is to stop drawing. It's all muscle memory, like I've said. You won't lose your skills, so please don't worry and just give yourself a break. Get some inspiration by like listening to music or watching a movie, because like when you're depressed, nothing you draw will turn out right, or it might turn out right, but you will see it as something horrible, and it just leads to a spiral of depression. So you deserve a break. So please, please, please just rest if you have art block or you're feeling uninspired. You do not need to force yourself to draw. It's okay if you take one day off from your sketchbook. So yeah, and another thing is I sometimes compare myself or compare my art with other people's, and I see that theirs is so much better, and I'm like, well, time to burn my drawings. I cannot like draw anymore. I'm so sad. I'm so horrible, and that happens to me so much. That's something I need to work on. But one thing is, you can, if you can, and if you can't do this, then you're amazing. Convert that energy into positive energy. Like, be motivated and be like, I need to be better than them. I need to like surpass them. And basically, if you can do that, then you should do that definitely. That's a very good rule, or that's a very good method to use. But if you can't do that, like I've said, just take a break. It helps so much. Like, I've had many experiences with that, and I just take a break and just take my mind off it, and soon enough I'm more motivated to draw. So yeah, anyways, I hope these tips helped. I know I went through a lot, so this is a very long video, but I hope that it also inspired some people to draw if you are a beginner and you are watching this. So yeah, and anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next one. Bye guys!